what we can do right now, or can we do something as a first time, as a first things. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm sharing the screen. 1 second. Share screen. Okay, do you see my screen? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so we identify following problems on all calls which we discussed on all initial calls about what issues and troubles we have with a system. Yeah, we identify 6 main things which could be improved. Yeah, and so first one, it's a security in application environment. It means that some all people in a team, almost all people in team, have access to the all parts of the system, and we need to review this and to do something with it. So we have a list of problems and list of possible solutions right here in this article. And guys, if you have questions, or will have questions during this, what I will read and try to discuss with you, please do not hesitate, just interrupt me and ask any questions or notes or thoughts you have. Yeah, and okay, so let's go quickly. We have a security issue in application level, application environment level. There is no way to revert production to previous version. So if we change something and it is not working on a production, it's really complex to roll back. And third one, it's a complex architecture and big coupling. And first one, it's DevOps. Hell, too many containers. Marketing side has impact to the whole application. Small changes force big effort from DevOps, and so on. And we have a performance issues. And last one, it's a system stability on stability on any code changes. We have this issue every time with when team members do some changes, and it's impact whole system. So possible solutions which we have right now, and first of all, it's a security issue. Yeah, it seems we need to do review exist roles and all environment and people who has access there, and restrict access to everybody, and accept only necessary or assign necessary roles to the necessary people. Yeah, as we discussed on all calls, only DevOps can touch the production environment and so on. We need to put it on. Hello, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it means that we need to review on AWS accounts we have or users we have under this account, and really restrict access to everybody. And actually, we have some misunderstanding here in this point, because nobody understands who really responsible for AWS user management and role management. So we are ready to pick up this responsibility to us, and we can follow this plan. It will really protect our application from any big changes, or any impact if somebody would decide to do something directly on an environment. We need to have a procedure which of development or changes we are going to apply to the production, and go through a whole procedure like we discussed already. And we will not have any possibility to do this without this procedure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, it's about production rollback to previous version. Yeah, there are 2 ways to implement this, to support this. First one, it's automate system rollback and create some automation scripts which will do this. We already have it for backend builds, but we need to review it and test it as well again, because it was created many months ago and nobody touched it right now. So we need to check it how it works now and probably tune something. And we don't have versioning at all on the front end part. So we just put all JS files into the S3. That's all. And there is no versions. There is no any way to keep the versioning and builds for each version. For backend, we have this. For frontend, it should be created and create some simple Jenkins action which allow to roll back system easily by one button press. And it will impact all to the development as well. It means that we need to develop in a way when at least one the current build can be rolled back at least for one version back. So we cannot do the big changes which change a lot of things in one version. So we need to have incremental changes and do it in the right way. So it's a development, it's impact to the development process and developers. It's a one way, and as well, of course, we need to review Jenkins from security point of view. Jenkins has his own users, his own roles, which we can tune as well as a user and roles for environment, and allow to do this only dedicated person like DevOps. And the second option here, we can implement really blue-green deploy. It means that it would be the same environments, and PostgreSQL and Redis synchronization should be configured, and Jenkins as well. And what it means that we will have two environments where we will install two different versions. And when we would like to update to next version, we will deploy it and test it on environment. And when we decide that everything is working good and ready to production, we just switch our routing on the forwarding to this environment on a AWS level. And when all people switch to new environment, we can shut down second environment and update with new version and start to test it in a production mode. And when it will be ready again, we switch back to this. I think you know what is blue-green approach. So there are two options. All of these, both of these options needs our time, of course. I cannot let you know how long it can take, both of them, but it's just a review and the ways how we can improve this part. Next question, it's a complex architecture and big coupling. We reviewed, do you see, Carol, did you see this diagram? It's loading now, 1 second. This diagram of whole application, whole system, which we have right now, I would say it's more about, okay. So as you can see, there are several layers like local and public and storage layer. I think we can merge or consolidate some services together. Yeah, and we have a list of services which can be merged together, really merged. And They are from different layers, like local and public. We start to think from these two columns first, like facial training service and facial training API, and or registration device service and registration register device API. We can merge two these services, for example, into one. And it means that we will not have a call between services, and we will not have any additional network gaps or delays. Yeah. So it's what we can do in with exist authentication flow, and do not do really big changes in this flow, but it will simplify the system. I don't think we are on a position to do really big changes in the flow, because we have more or less working solution, which is working now and more or less stable. And if we will do big changes right now, we will unstable more the system. I don't want to do this right now. I think we can do this simple step now. It looks like a simple one, but it will take off our effort and our time for this. Next, two next things related to the front end mostly. Or it's first one. It's integration kit. We discussed that integration kit become something big than just integration. It contains now some pop-ups, some front-end code, which related to the IDP only now. And I think it should be separated, because integration kit, it's something we are going to provide our customers to integrate with us. And now it contains something which is not necessary for them. And now we put a lot of changes there which are related only to the pop-ups, text and other things which are not really related to the integration. They are related to how it's present for IDP process. So I think integration kit should be refactored, and some library should be extracted from integration kit, and for IDP needs. So it means that we will have a only integration logic here, and it will not be changed so often, and we can distribute this kit to our customers. And if we need some changes for IDP, it would be separately. So, and responsibilities would be more logical and clear. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Next one it's a front end. Yeah, and now it seems we have many, not have, but many issues become to us from front end when we do some front end changes. Yeah, and probably it's not, we should not do it right now, but I would recommend to replace all design and backbone which we are using right now with some modern framework which based on reusable components. For example, Vue.js or React or Angular, whatever. But I really would suggest to use Vue.js because it has similar syntax as a backbone, plus many advantages. Yeah, and it will make our front-end code more clear, more maintainable because of components, because of directives, reusable, and less code. It will take less code because some modern things we cannot implement easily on a backbone. Yeah, but with modern frameworks, it's already present from the box, or easily to add some plugin which will improve our code and code base. our custom code base, I mean, but we'll have additional dependency from library, but help us in this case. Do you see? Okay, so do you have any questions about architecture things?
No, nothing yet.
Okay, next question, next issue which we point off, it's DevOps hell. So too many containers. We already suggested to reduce amount of services. It will reduce amount of containers. Yeah, and so it will become easier to do DevOps stuff as well. Next big thing, small change force big effort from DevOps. To be honest, I don't have a solution right now which will solve 100% of problems, but we have an idea which can really decrease DevOps effort. It's merging or combining management console and authentication clusters into one. Yeah, we have so many things we need to implement on both clusters or support on the both clusters when do some changes. And if we will have one cluster, it means that we will have one deploy flow, one set of Git repositories, and it will simplify our life. But there is one not issue, but solves that it means that management console will not be a client of Sonikpass service. Because why we have two clusters? Because we have a Sonikpass service which provide authentication service, and we have a management console which can be authenticated by Sonikpass service. And we create two clusters because of management consoles use Sonikpass service for authentication. We can merge it into one, and it will decrease DevOps effort and probably understanding of the system from our point of view as a system supporters. But again, it means that we combine two different things into one place. Okay, am I clear with all this stuff?
Yeah, so far, yes.
Okay. Next one is a sentence that marketing site has impact to the whole application, and some small changes on the marketing text force the system update. We reviewed current system, current environment. As I see, marketing site hosted under S3 file system. So as a list of simple files, and there is no any relation between this site and our system, our backend system, or our real system. Yeah, and it can be updated separately. Excuse me?
I do have, yeah, so every time we try to update the marketing site, like using some text changes and stuff, it has required.
Excuse me, Kerry. I hear that you are talking, but I don't understand the words.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 minute. Let me get my headphones.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew, is this better?
Okay, yes, a little bit. Please go ahead.
So for the marketing side, the the concern I had was that every time we had to make a test change, it would require a production update because management console is still linked deeply to the marketing side. So I'm confused here when you're saying that it's separate. That means can let's say Ben or Carrier or somebody just go and make some text changes without having to update the production system.
Okay, I see. Okay, in this case, I need to review deeply what is market insight is and the real case, what uh, what what was changed in that times and why it's forced the update. So I think we need to involve Ben into this and into this, probably not this separate call, and we need to see really what was happens, because yeah, probably yes. Again, it should be reviewed, and we can separate it, market insight, um, completely. I think market insight should use some simple stuff, like which will allow you to manage market insight from UI, from some UI. So
Yeah, we could use WordPress or some sort of framework like that.
yes,
It should
I
not
don't.
have to be on S3.
Yes, just install WordPress, and that's all. And all other things could be could be implemented through UI easily without any impact to any other parts. So okay, so let's let's discuss it separately, and come up with some plan to the marketing side. And I don't
Okay.
know who will responsible for that, but I think again WordPress will work much better than just usual simple JS or HTML files under S3. Okay,
Okay.
so next one is the performance issues, and there are two issues which I heard from you. Yeah, probably we have more, but I heard only two. First one, it's a Google login. So it takes time, and all our investigation says that it's because of Google answered quite long. But you say it's different, and it means that we need to discuss with the people who really reproduced it separately and see what's the weak place. If we need to reproduce it on a stage in ourselves together with your guys or with somebody who is good to do this. Carol, it would be you or Ben or Jason, who is the best person to discuss this question?
I would put it on Confluence, Andrew, and then we'll all just basically put our thoughts in there. So that way, um, everybody has a chance to add their thoughts to it.
Okay, okay. So we will investigate it and try to create some load tests if we will not reproduce it simply in a
Okay.
simple way, and see what we can do here and find real root cause. Because initial investigation show up it because of Google services. Probably no. We need to investigate it deeply and with somebody who can help you, can help us. Okay, so you will put some notes into the Confluence, and we will see.
Yes. Yes.
Next one, it's DDoS protection. Yeah. Um, Based on what I see today, so there are two parts which can be attacked. It's a front end. It's a marketing site and front end management console, whatever, which is deployed as a simple files on the CDN, under the CDN. So it should not impact if somebody try to call a lot of times these links. I mean, related to the front end. and backend should continue work, and the authentication engine should work because we have a separate URLs for that and separate virtual machines for that, I think. And if somebody's attacked the backend links, yeah, it could be a trouble. It could be a problem. And there are a few. I know several protection system from DDoS. It's not easy to do it ourselves. I think it would be good to use some exist service, and AWS has their own protection system, AWS Shield. We can use it and investigate how to use it corresponding to our needs for our system. If you increase the priority of these, we can work on this and create a solution how to use AWS Shield and how much it will cost you for, because it will cost money, I guess, using this tool.
Right.
And the last one, which we just start to discuss a few hours ago, it's a system stability on code changes. Yeah, and we had many discussions that we need to be smart to do changes. System is not simple. Yeah, and only one thing come up to us, right? And we need to protect ourselves with integration test. Probably not for whole process. We have some integration tests for backend, but we do not run them continuously, and we don't have integration test for management console. And I think we should create integration test for management console, and it's the right time to do this. And create and review and probably improve backend integration tests and run them on every dev environment update. When somebody deploy, when new version deployed on a dev environment, we should run integration test on that environment and send the report to all people who is involved into the development, and we will see what changes breaks what functionality. And if it's only related to the management console, it means that some management console test will fail, but backend test will continue to work. Yeah, and if backend test will fail, means that we have a trouble in the backend side, and we need to jump deeply into the backend what was broken. I think it's possible. It is not something which will be so complex as a automated test of whole authentication process, but at least management console functionality will be covered, and backend functionality will be covered as well. Plus, eliminate that we have some issues with some changes which just happens.
So, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So in my opinion, with regards to to stabilize
Kirill, we don't hear you. You're muted.
so from my point of view, it would be ideal if you can take and create a script that will replicate the production database on your staging system where you're testing, and make sure that you're actually testing on a system that's going to be exactly the same as what's going to go on production. This way, when it moves to production, we're reducing the risk to, let's say, 99.9%, like 0.01% of risk that something is different in your production environment. I mean, we already have so many variables with the containers, and there are so many things with how the application gets deployed that as you mentioned already, makes it very very complex and very difficult to trace. So at a minimum, what we should do is have a script that will replicate that production database on our staging environment, and then test on that database.
Okay, it's additional things which is good, but I would start from dev environment, because it will not impact exist environment data. For example, I don't know how important staging environment data, but dev environment data completely rubbish, and it is not really thing which we should keep every time. We can break it,
Yeah.
but
So any
yeah,
environment where we want to test, any environment where we want to test, or even development. When we want to develop, I mean, like usually what I've done in the past is you release, right? As soon as you release and your release is stable and it's live, then immediately you take a copy of the production database after the build has been released, and you put that copy into development. So now everyone's developing on the same data that's on production. Of
um,
course, when we need to make sure that, if there's sensitive data in the future, you have user information, etc. There
yeah.
are ways to clean that up. But at a minimum, you're working on the same schema, you're working on some base data that is the same, so you can minimize your risk. Now, and I don't, like, I don't know if you guys took note of this, but one concern that I had is that our dev database is right now accessible just straight up on the, on the Postgre report. So that's another thing that could probably be improved.
Yes, it's a good point, and I completely agree with you. So using production data is a good test. Again, but as you mentioned, sensitive data and real user data, it's quite important to keep them under security. So I'm not sure that dev environment in this case is a good place. Probably we can create some special environment which will completely the same as a production, and and synchronize somehow the data with the production, and run test continuously on that environment. Even we can run some test on a production itself, but not big. So it's could be our goal, but I would suggest to start from the usual data on a dev environment. When we will have everything automated, everything is running on the right time, and we see that everything is stable, we can think about production data. And of course, it's important, and we will just use on production data on some environment and test it. But I think we need to create these test scripts and automation scripts. So it will take time for that. So it's this list which I mentioned. It's our suggestion, and let's discuss them, or let's review this list and leave your comments or something like that. Let's discuss them. Probably something will have a big effort, something not, and impact to the system. Yeah,
Right.
and
So
yeah,
what I'd like to suggest, Andrew, and this is great. Thank you for doing this. I think what we want to do, we should definitely review it, add more comments to this, and then start looking at potentially what's the easiest thing we can do with the highest impact, and then review that and maybe get that started. But I'd definitely like to review this with Cariel and Jason and Ben and the rest of the team here, and figure out what's the best move forward, and then have another chat, a follow-up conversation um, with our notes in added to your notes.
Okay, thank you. And there are only short sentences according to the topics. And if something needs to be clarified more, or it would, we will do this. Just ask us, just me. And if I miss some problem, just add it or let me know, and we will think on this problem as well. But main thing which I understand and realize is that we are not in a position to change completely the application flow on right now. Yeah, we need to think how to do it in a safe way. And my point of view, the last sentence is most important. And I would start from the integration test creation. And when we will have it, it seems we will have a possibility to do some changes inside the system. And at least we will
Right.
have insurance that our changes do not impact to the system too much or break something.
I would say so. Whatever we do, any decision we take, there are three things I want us to keep foremost in our mind. The number one thing being stability, number two being security, and the third thing being scalability. So any changes we propose, any discussions we have, we want to keep those three things in mind as we start figuring out what to do next, right? So I'm going to have a bunch of questions, Andrew, to the notes you added on the conference. I'm sure Carrie's got a bunch of questions too. And then let's just add those notes in conference and use that as a sort of a discussion base.
Okay, so you will review and after that we will discuss, or you already have something?
No, so we were waiting for, because you know the architecture more than Carrie just joined us, right? So I was literally waiting for you to tell us what you and Nikita and Alexander have come up with, and then some of the things that you mentioned are already things we had in mind, but I have questions which I'm going to add there. I'm going to keep adding questions there, and then I think we've got some ideas we might add there to use the current AWS and see how to make it more scalable, and then maybe have another discussion, have a follow-up call next week.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Carrie,
So
do you have?
we can continue to keep updating this document.
Okay, good idea. We are not actually we were not thinking about AWS things which can be put it into this application. We just
no,
review.
I just use AWS because that's where our backend is. When I say AWS, I meant a backend,
Yeah.
or our overall system, right? So.
Okay. Okay. Good. So probably you already have questions,
I
which
do. I have questions.
no, I mean, which you would like to discuss right now. If not, okay.
I can use. So I do. I did want to. So again, my biggest questions are literally tied to why the management console is still tied to the marketing side. That's one. Two, Jenkins. Anybody who's got access to Jenkins has got access to everything, right? So and that you already covered, where you said that we want to limit the accessibility to Jenkins.
Yes.
Even internally, one of my big concerns was that everybody's touching everything, and so there should be limited access to people. We probably don't have a release engineer who is basically responsible for releasing stuff. We also need somebody internally responsible for security, as in, if let's say if Igor wants to check something and that's going to impact a critical database, somebody needs to basically review that and see if it's a security risk or not. And so stuff like that. And then the big thing is our databases are accessible externally. So literally, our databases should not, you should not be able to touch our database unless you're running a script, and that too internally only. So that is a big concern. But I mean, those are things I'm actually going to put on the conference document. These are my concerns, and we can continue adding more stuff to it.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, I would ask Carol, in this case, probably you have some other thoughts to add right now, or you need to review it, this document, and after that we will discuss it. Probably you already have some thoughts before our call, which you would like to share with us.
No, I think I'm just gonna echo what Carrie is saying, and we'll get back to you. If in any way you guys can just secure a little bit, our environment in terms of, like, I'm not talking high security, nothing crazy, but just do, like the fact that our dev and stage databases are just accessible via the Postgre port externally. If you guys can put that behind SSH, that'd be great. Small things like that, and then, creating a script that you can use to initialize a database, that would be great. I know you guys created a script to delete a user from the database, but can we create a script that will actually just initialize the database so we can start registering users from scratch? Things like that,
Yeah, we can do this. Okay, but somebody should lead this stuff, yeah, and understand why we need this. Because again, we did not have requests from somebody from Sonikpass. So, and guys just thinking that we are stabilizing the system, that's all, and do not touch and do not propose on something. Just leave it as is and just fix issues. But okay.
These are just my ideas. These are just my ideas, but like I really need to sit with Carrie and see what his priorities are. And so, like once we talk, we can get back to you and prioritize what really needs to be done. Make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that's great. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you putting together this thing.
Okay. Please also add more issues if you have them, because
I will, yeah.
If I don't
think
know,
what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of our concerns, every concern I have, I'm going to put it in that document. The document we just started, so we are all looking at the same thing.
Okay, good. In this case, what's the best day and time to have a follow-up according to this topic together?
We are. I know we are on. So let's schedule. Carol does. I know we are off till Tuesday, and then we've got Tuesday and Wednesday are crazy busy. So what next Thursday?
Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's have a Thursday call. Call it Thursday and cover your questions, your notes, your concerns. And
Okay.
so if you already will have something, just ping us that you already put something to think for, especially for us. Okay.
I will do that. And the other part is that as of yesterday, production is stable. And I think as of late last night, Jason's also got the Windows application working. And as soon as Irina or